love lives here.
My talk this morning is healing divisions, and I was going to start with a joke about multiplication being the only way to heal division, but that's a really... See, I guess you guys got it. It's too much of a nerdy math teacher joke. Multiplication is the only way to heal division. Hey, I actually got some laughs. That's good. All right. Got some math people out there. So as a teacher, one of the things that we did in a training one time was that they all handed us a blank piece of paper. And the instructor told us, crumple it up. Step on it, fold it. Don't tear it, but just crumple it up. And then the challenge became, now smooth it back out. We do this with our students sometimes to talk about the power of our words. You see, we tried. We can press it, we can fold it, we can rub it, but no matter how hard you work, the wrinkles are still there. And then came the surprise. We were asked to apologize to the paper. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that paper was looking at me saying, oh, really? You think a half-hearted apology is going to fix that? But the lesson is clear. Apologies are important. They matter. But they don't always erase the wrinkles. And like that paper, we all carry wrinkles. Scars from life's challenges, painful words, divisions in our hearts and our communities. Sometimes we carry wrinkles of generations before us. Generational wrinkles that we're still working to smooth out and not pass on. But this morning I want to explore how compassion towards ourselves, towards others, in our conversations can smooth out those wrinkles of division, heal those divisions, and help us remember the wholeness that has never really been lost. We're going to talk about healing wrinkles within, healing our wrinkles with each other, through healing our vision of others and how we connect as equals. Because the truth is, we all do carry wrinkles inside. These are our habits, our grooves, our unconscious reactions. Sometimes they show up as self-criticism or judgment or criticism of others. And let's be honest, we all know our wrinkles show up in different ways. It doesn't matter how spiritual I am, if I'm sitting in traffic, suddenly I go from being that Mr. Spiritual Minister guy to being a traffic cop in 3 seconds flat, right? But healing division always starts with healing the wrinkles within us. Asking ourselves, how am I divided within myself? And the key is compassion. Compassion is not pity. It's not pretending. It's a loving presence towards our own hurts and our own confusion. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh once said that we should hold our suffering with kindness, like a mother cradling her baby. And Ernest Holmes, the founder of our spiritual traditions, reminds us we are already perfect, whole and complete. The work is to let go of the false belief in separation. Just because my paper is wrinkled doesn't mean it's a separate piece of paper. That is a false belief. So where in your life have you experienced or witnessed some wrinkled paper moments? Those times when you or someone else carried a mark or a generational tradition that no simple apology could erase. And when you find those wrinkles within yourself, the practice then becomes to place your hand over your heart, take a deep breath, and you bring to mind your wrinkle, and you silently say, I hold this with kindness. I am whole, even in my wrinkles. Healing divisions begins right there, with compassion for ourselves. But compassion cannot stop with just ourselves. The same compassion that heals us becomes a bridge to healing those divisions with others. Last week, I shared the image of the magnifying glass and how sometimes we focus on the wrinkles in others and we magnify their flaws and we focus on them. But Spirit invites us to see beyond that appearance. Jesus said, judge not by appearances, but judge with righteous judgment. Our spiritual practice then becomes seeing others through a spiritual lens, not a political one or a cultural one. Compassion is love in action. It's how Spirit sees and responds through us. In those difficult moments when we are faced with division, we can ask, how does Spirit see this person or this situation? How does Spirit see this person? Am I looking at them through the eyes, through the lens of Spirit? Ernest Holmes says, we should refuse to believe in the reality of separation. Our opportunity and our work is to see the connection in chaos, the peace through the pain, and the growth through the grief. Our opportunity and our spiritual practice is to see the connection through the chaos, the peace through the pain, and the growth through the grief. Because the truth is, to heal divisions, we have to learn how to disagree without disconnecting. We can have compassion, even those with whom we just disagree with at the very core of our being. We have to use our spiritual vision to see what we have in common, even if our methods to get there are different. Now, I can hear what you're saying, really loudly, some of you. I can't possibly have anything in common with that person. I hear you. But the truth is, we do have something in common. We all want to be loved. We all want to love. We all want connection and belonging. And we all want to feel safe. That's something every one of us has in common. The paths we take to get there might be healthy and express the highest vision of ourselves. And sometimes our wrinkles get in the way. And we try to get there by unskillful or harmful means. We have all done it at one time or another. Or is that just me? And we all can have compassion and forget when the ways that we try to get that love and connection and belonging are not the healthiest and highest ways to do it. We can forgive ourselves when we forget who we are. or somebody else forgets who we are. Have you ever heard the story of the blind men and the elephant? Each of the blind men touched a part of the elephant and thought they had the whole truth. One man touched the trunk and said, "An elephant is like a snake." Another touched the tail and said, "No, an elephant is like a rope." Another touched the leg of the elephant and said, "No, an elephant is like a tree." But see, the truth was larger than what any of them could see. No pun intended. Isn't that true of us? We often judge from appearances, missing the bigger truth of spirit expressing through someone. It is an issue of misperception and misidentification. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she was venting about certain current events and certain political personalities and the state of the world. You guys wouldn't know anything about that, right? And I said, "You know the story's not over yet, right? Every good story has a climax where love wins, and the challenge or the conflict is overcome. This is just the part of the story where it gets exciting." And I have found it helpful to remember this saying that I heard many years ago. Pain that is not transformed is transferred. Pain that is not transformed is transferred. So when I see someone acting out in anger or cruelty, I can see them not as an enemy, but as someone who's carrying pain. And that reminds me to be compassionate. I remember I can never know the whole story. And the story is not over yet. For us, for others, for our community, for our country. We are on page 2025, and it's not done yet. And we do not know the whole story. Even up there on the cross, Jesus said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." That is spiritual vision beyond appearances. So the practice then becomes, think of someone you struggle with, who you disagree with. Picture them in your mind's eye. Now see them surrounded by light and love, and silently bless them. I see you as whole, and I bless you with love. It is like the Buddhist loving kindness meditation. You can hold that person, that situation that is looks like division. Hold them in your mind's eye, surround them with love, and wish them well. May you be happy. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. That is compassion in action. Compassion is not about fixing them. It is about seeing. It is about refusing to reduce somebody to their wrinkles. The third step to healing division is how we connect with one another. I had a practitioner teacher who used to say, "We think relationships are always supposed to be 50-50. You ever heard that? But healing takes place. In order for healing to take place, it has to be 100%, 100%. That means we bring the whole person. As long as I'm up here and you're down here, there's separation. We can only heal that separation as equals. Healing is always about healing that sense of separation. Pema Chodron, the Buddhist monk, says, compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. It is a relationship between equals. Because if I'm up here and you're down here, and I'm talking down to you, because you don't know what you're talking about, right? That's separation. That's causing division. That means we have to talk to each other as equals. It doesn't mean pretending there's no right and wrong, but it means that both of our experiences have value. And honoring that spirit in me is meeting that spirit in you on equal ground. When we approach conversations with curiosity and compassion, asking ourselves before we speak, is this necessary? Is this kind? Is it true? We create space for healing and connection. Recognizing our shared unity, wrinkles and all, we can have compassion and forgive each other when we're not as smooth as we could be. Ernest Holmes reminds us that we are not limited by actual boundaries, but by false ideas. That means that those wrinkles and those boundaries that we put up between us and the other, they're a lot more flexible and permeable than we like to think they are. Those wrinkles are false ideas. So then the second question becomes, how can clarity and kindness coexist in your conversations, especially when emotions run high or perspectives differ? Brene Brown says, clarity is kindness. When we are honest and clear, but grounded in compassion, real healing can take place. What does it mean to you to talk as equals? And how might that shift the conversations that you have? Rumi gives us a beautiful invitation. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. In practice, that might look like beginning tough conversations with what you have in common. I know we both want what's best. We both value safety and belonging. We both want to be loved and to love. Ernest Holmes says, the only way to peace is through peace. So when blame arises, bless instead. See the other person surrounded in light, compassion, and safety. That's how the healing begins. And that's how healing division begins. And so it is. So I invite you to move over to the tables. And on your tables, you have 3 questions. Where in your life have you experienced or witnessed wrinkled paper moments? Number 2, how can clarity and kindness coexist in your conversations, especially when emotions run high or perspectives differ? And what does it mean to you to talk as equals, and how might that shift the way you approach conflict or misunderstanding? So, to heal divisions, we must offer compassion to ourselves and our own wrinkles. We have to see beyond appearances and offer compassion to others. And we have to speak and listen as equals with clarity and kindness. This week, I invite you to practice surrounding everybody with whom you talk with love and compassion and peace. And let's end with a final visualization. So if you're willing, close your eyes. Bring to mind someone that you have struggled with. Imagine them surrounded by divine light. Silently affirm, there is one life, one love, one power, flowing through all of us. In that love, divisions are healed and we are made whole. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." So let us leave here as spiritual anchors in turbulent times, standing firm in principle, but soft in approach and open in love. And that is how we heal divisions, and so it is.